Oh, well, my name's Fox, man. So, big name is Fox, and this is probably, I don't know if this will be my last video for the Clone Wars, but this is my whole review of the Clone Wars, the show, the animated series, which I extremely love, and I've seen it all the way to the end, which I pretty much love that the show, though it technically started with the movie, when the TV series started, it began with Yoda, and then it ended with Yoda, which is pretty cool. And if I haven't said already, I love the animated series, especially since I love shows mostly because it allows more breathing room to develop characters and stuff like that. Like if you watch episode 2 of Star Wars and then go to episode 3, yeah, Anakin flips on a freaking dime. But if you watch it, watch the Clone Wars, you slowly see as Anakin slowly becomes Vader, which I extremely like. You see Anakin slowly become Vader. You get explanations on why the clones suddenly snap. You see why the clones snap with Order 66, which I didn't know the reason why, but this show actually tells you, which is kind of good. You get a lot more things. You get a little more development. You get some more backstory on Obi-Wan. You get not so much on Qui-Gon Jinn. You get you follow more clones. It's extremely fun. I extremely love the series. It's all on Netflix right now, but it's extremely fun. I really do like it. They go to the other worlds and stuff like that, and there's also little Easter eggs and stuff like that. Like every once in a while, you have a character say, "I have a bad feeling about this." A lot more during the first 2 seasons. Then after that, it kind of just pops up every once in a while. But the series is pretty fun, and I extremely like it. I especially my favorite episodes are still the Mortis episodes. Which, spoiler for those, those episodes are pretty loved because those I think have maybe the quote unquote the most emotion, I think, and possibly one of the more reasons why I extremely love Anakin, because in those episodes, you see a literal battle between darkness and light, which you could take a lot of it as a metaphor and stuff like that that's happening, but also there's the scene where Anakin saying that he doesn't want evil to win. He doesn't want anything bad to happen. And the personification of the dark side tells him evil is going to appear. Evil is going to destroy everything. You're going to lose your love. You're going to lose everything unless you join me. This will be your future. And the dark side actually shows him of the future, though in fragments, but you see swirling smoke, you see people dying, Jedi falling, and stuff like that. And then you even hear parts from the movies, like you hear Obi-Wan runs at the camera going, "You are my brother, Anakin!" And watching the Clone Wars show, you kind of get that they are close. You see all of them working together and stuff, though, mind you, the Jedi still feel reserved and stuff like that. But then also watching Anakin, you see like more emotion and stuff like that. You see Ahsoka follows in his footsteps, which I love as well. You see all the characters coming together, and I love that one scene on Mortis because you see Anakin going, "No, no!" He's saying he doesn't want this future. He doesn't want it to happen. And then it ends with seeing the helmet of Darth Vader appear, which I'm like, oh my freaking gosh, yes. I love this. And the reason why I like this scene especially much is because if you see the Star Wars, you know how this story plays out, at least this version or this timeline of the story plays out. You know he becomes Darth Vader. You know this. But it's just that you see right now, Vader didn't want to become Vader, which, I don't know, maybe that's a turnoff for people who like Darth Vader as just being the bad guy. I like the idea of him being so tragic, being that Anakin fought with everything he could. He even gives it to the dark side at this point to try to stop him, to try to stop everything that was going to happen. He knew who Sidious was. I believe he knew who Sidious was. He knew a way to destroy and fix everything, quote unquote fix everything, by using the dark side. But that was taken away from him at that point. The memories of all that erased. But you see him become Vader as the story progresses. You see, whether it be Anakin gets so angry at one point because a character wasn't giving up information, where he goes on his own, I've said this before, force chokes a guy and tells him and interrogates him by force choking him. And as you hear the Darth Vader theme playing. You see that throughout the thing. You see him throw the lightsaber and then pull it back using the force. You see him multiple times use the force choke when he starts getting angry, or whenever he does get angry. Where's the Hood? You hear the theme playing of Darth Vader slowly creeping in. You see Vader being created as the episodes progress. You see characters not feeling untrust. You see that there's something that like characters liking other characters. You see the love between Anakin and Padme. You see the distrust in the citizens versus the Jedi and the Clone Wars. You see Sidious slowly creeping in, speaking Anakin's ear. You see all these characters that usually usually aren't focused on getting more attention. You see Boba Fett starting off. You see everything happening. I extremely loved this. You saw Darth Maul return, which was freaking awesome. It was just an awesome show. Mind you, I think they even have Jar Jar Binks episodes. Being there, I was like, but those episodes, but at least they played up for more laughs, if anything. Then there's the final season. I kind of like. Although I will say one thing I kind of didn't like a lot was a lot of the stories later on the seasons. They kind of made 4-parters, which I thought, because first off, I think they were doing like 3-parters every once in a while, like this episode, or they would have 3 different parts but have the different characters for it. And I'm like, okay, this would be Yoda episode, next one will be an Anakin episode, then it'll be Obi-Wan, but it'll all be during like the same events and stuff like that. Or it'll do a continuation, stuff like that. I'm fine with that, but a lot of times, sometimes it was like 4-part episodes, and I'm just like, like, okay, this story doesn't really seem that interesting, but I gotta stick around for like another 2 episodes for it. Usually, they give you some laughs. And a spider. Sorry, I see something hanging from the ceiling above my bed. Well, at least where I sleep. But yeah, like I'm just that I would say I'm just like But other than that, it was a pretty fun ride. I love the fighting's pretty cool. They kind of toned down a little bit of like the whole swirling the lightsabers like crazy style, like you see like in the movies a little bit, but they still have it to where they're fighting. You have the mythos and stuff like that happening. Again, you see the development of the characters. You see Anakin slowly becoming darker. You see Ahsoka. You actually see time pass where Ahsoka's older later on, as well as Anakin and Obi-Wan, which I liked. I think they should have had a little bit more Mace Windu episodes. If only to have another one with Jar Jar Binks. In the end, they had one with Jar Jar Binks. And I just love seeing Jar Jar annoy the fudge out of Mace Windu. But yeah, it kind of stings because I'm pretty sure like season 6, the last one was mostly to be like, okay, we need to make sure we end with this all leading into episode 3, because then after this we're going to start doing Rebels. Which... it's not too bad. Which, last one, I think the best episodes would probably be the first, like, I think is the first few with the clones for the season 6 one. I'm saying at the end of season 6 would be the clone one, and then at the end with Yoda. Yoda is where he's slowly learning how to become a living force, where he can summon himself as a force ghost in the movies. And then he would teach Obi-Wan, and then I guess Anakin just naturally does it because he's super strong. But yeah, like I liked that a lot. There's even like these last episodes with Yoda. You have Yoda kind of has visions of the future a little bit, but it's also mixed in with other things. Which then that means that Ahsoka might die, because you see Ahsoka there at one point. She says that the Sith did this. And the thing is, like, there's a scene where he goes into the temple and he sees all like the younglings thrown out on the floor. I'm thinking, oh crap, this is where Anakin went Darth Vader and started killing the kids. And then you'll see Ahsoka, and I'm like, I know Ahsoka is rebel, so she's fine for now, but that doesn't mean she won't die by Sith at some time later. But I was waiting for a point where Yoda's gonna look down at the kids or Ahsoka, and then the camera's gonna pan up behind him, and you're just gonna see the silhouette of Darth Vader, just and but I like see which someone left.
What if I said die enough times?
Someone left someone left a comment on this thing. But anyways, yeah, I know my phone's about to die. But what was I talking about? Like I was expecting for a Darth Vader thing, although like they do cut scenes and stuff like that. Like at one point in this vision, you see Anakin cut Darth. You can see Dooku's head get cut off by Anakin, how he does in the movie, which was pretty cool. And there's even a scene where Yoda has to pick up Anakin, and he has to either choose to get struck by Darth Sidious or save Anakin. And I love how Sidious eggs him on. Sidious says, "Let him die. If you let him die, you will stop all of this. You will stop everything bad. You will stop my plans if you just let him die." And Yoda says no, which I love. I love that because one, we know where we know where this timeline goes. We know that if Anakin would have died right there, everything after episode 3, everything after this series would not have most likely would not have happened. Darth Vader would have been gone. Luke wouldn't have been there. Luke, Leia, Darth Sidious would have been there and most likely been captured and taken out by the Jedi. But I love that because Yoda is doing the right thing. It's a conflict, which I kind of love, which is kind of similar to, like I said, the Morris episodes with Anakin. He's trying to stop evil. They're quote unquote evil. They're trying to stop the things from happening, the bad things from happening. But in trying to do so, they're creating it. Anakin's becoming Vader, even though he's trying to stop the dark side. Yoda is trying to save the future, but if he would have stopped and did this one thing, the future wouldn't have happened, and the Jedi most likely would have won. It's just that conflict to where everything is lining up for the future. Everything's lining up for episode 3, 4, 5, 6, and soon, and then 7 and 8, 9. Everything is being set up for it, set up for Rebels and everything. And you see the defining points. The points where if this would not have happened, this one point, it's one point. If this wouldn't have happened, or if this would have happened, if Anakin would have left Mortis with the brother, the personification of the dark side, he probably could have ended Sidious. He probably could have saved the world. Maybe he would have been evil, but I think he probably could have saved the world. He would have had Padme to bring him back to the light. He would have had Obi-Wan to bring him back to the light. And then again, I guess in the movies it kind of shows that Padme doesn't really do much. I don't know. I think Padme probably could have helped bring him back to the light, especially since Darth Vader's first question when he's first back is, "Where's Padme?" So I think Padme probably could have brought him back. And then Yoda, you see, he probably could have saved him. And then Yoda, he probably could have well, that's more of a vision, if anything. But yeah, if Anakin would have died or something like that, or listened to Sidious, he could have stopped everything from happening. It's just the point of the conflict, which I love. It's just that I love that it's, I don't know if it's considered, what is considered ironic, but it's just they're trying to do, I guess it is somewhat of irony. They're trying to do the quote unquote right thing, but it always ends, it's going to end badly, but then as it ends badly, it then becomes good. You see Anakin, you see Vader, you see all the characters keep going. I definitely, the thing that I love is we now we still have a continuation of this story. Yeah, even though season 6 kind of feels a little bit rushed, and there was a padding a little bit, I think, with the Jar Jar and Mace Windu episodes, but whatever with those. Even though this was a little rushed, I like that now we have Rebels, which is actually which is canon. Clone Wars is still canon also with it, so even the movies are still a continuation, but we have Rebels, which kind of goes off of Clone Wars. You learn everything that's happening afterward. We get to learn a little bit more of the world around that happened basically before and possibly during 4, 5, and 6. Which I extremely like. It's pretty cool. And then you also have the game, Star Wars Uprising, I believe it is, where you have after 4, 5, 6, 6. I played a little bit of that. It's pretty fun. But it's just, I extremely liked this series. It's extremely fun. I would say if you definitely check it out for yourself, at least it made the episode 1, 2, and 3 of Star Wars better for me, because I knew why I liked these characters. I knew how they were supposed to be. Yes, the acting is not the greatest, but still, you know these characters. You slowly saw Vader be born or created, and I just love. And again, the Mortis episodes are still are probably going to be my favorite episodes, because I love the literal battle of darkness and light, and I love seeing, well, the dark side and light side, and I also love seeing Anakin totally and utterly reject what he'll become. He totally rejects it, saying, "No, this will not happen. I will not allow this to happen." And yet it happens. He becomes what he did not want to be. And I say that's a little, like there are stories where, like, a hero, let me see how long I've been recording this. 17, dang. I might have to cut this a little short soon, but there are stories where a hero becomes the villain, like, "Oh, Spider-Man, for you trying to stop me, you are now the villain," or something like that, where, like, they're about to kill someone or something like that, and, like, they're like, no, I'm not gonna let this happen. There are lots of stories like that. But what I like about Anakin's is I guess maybe there is at the end, but there isn't, like, the point where he grabs the villain and he's about to kill him, and the villain says, "No, you'll be the bad. No, now you're the monster." And he's like, "You're right. If I kill you, I'm going to be the monster. No, I can't let this happen." There isn't that. There is, he grabbed the defining point, the point of whether he would become hero or villain, whether he would stay hero or villain, and he chose quote unquote villain, which I like, because it adds more to the character, makes it more, crap, he could have been a hero, which in the end, yes, Vader does, spoiler alert, does become the hero, but watching, it's just, my God, I just love it, seeing that seeing, like, the tragedy of the character, seeing the tragedy of Anakin, which it's probably going to be the reason why Anakin is one of my favorite characters. Anakin, Rey, Kylo, I'll say Luke. Luke is probably one of me. I got to rewatch 4, 5, and 6. I've seen it already. I've seen 4, 5, and 6, which is pretty good, but I think probably because I'm so in depth with, like, the Jedi being kind of monkish and stuff like that, like, I don't know. I do like it, though. Han Solo is pretty awesome. I love Han Solo. I'm good. Everything's good up here. How are you? But it's extremely fun. I want to know what happened to Darth Maul, because Sidious, spoilers, takes him away, and then I'm pretty sure it was supposed to lead into something if the series continued. Sadly, no. So I'm assuming Darth Maul will appear again, possibly in Rebels, possibly in a flashback. I know in the comic books, which also now you have, because apparently there was already 2 continuities for Star Wars comics and everything. Now you have a 3rd continuity, but the other 2 continuities are considered non-canon. Though it is pretty cool to go back through the quote unquote, it's called Legend, so most likely, so there is a chance they might be considered canon later on, or they might mix some things around. But I do want to know what is going to happen with Darth Maul, like if he's going to appear in Rebels and stuff like that. I think that would be cool. But either way, thank you everyone so much for watching. I definitely would say check it out for yourselves. Yoda is a pretty awesome character. I love how they began the series with him. Really started with the anime and movie, which is basically the first 2 episodes, but really the first. Well, but when the official one, it was the Yoda episodes. I love how they kind of bookend it, where Yoda was the beginning of the series and then the end. But yeah, I cannot wait for more. We go from the prequels, Clone Wars, to Rebels. And then we go on even further. So thank you so much for watching. Probably won't be my last Star Wars video, but thank you so much for watching, and we will see you later. And may the Force be with you. Darkness or light.